Everyone remembers SpongeBob and Fred Flintstones and the countless others that are some of the biggest names in cartoon history. And this leaves some of the smaller characters to be forgotten forever. Just because they aren't the main characters of a show or they don't get remembered doesn't mean they still aren't just as cool. I'm your host as always, K-Mac Time, and today we're going to take a look at the 25 awesome characters you totally forgot about. Starting us out is Twister from Rocket Power, and while he may not be as popular as Reggie and Otto, he is just as cool. I loved this show growing up, and Twister's character was always funny to me. Not only could he skateboard, snowboard, surf, and all the other crazy stuff those kids did, but he was filming it too. That totally added a whole other thing to him. Reggie and Otto may have overshadowed Twister, but he's still one of my all-time favorite characters. Next up is Winslow from CatDog, and while he wasn't in every episode of the show, I always enjoyed the ones he was in. His character was incredibly funny to me as a kid, but it never really seemed to get any love from cartoon fans. It's a shame, as Winslow's character was greatly designed and well written. And it sucks that not many people remember him and he's being kind of completely forgotten about. Our next character is actually the main character of his own show, but still somehow seems to be forgotten by most people. Freakazoid was a short-lived show, being on the WB instead of Nickelodeon or on Cartoon Network may have been a major reason why nobody remembers him, but the show was actually pretty cool and his character is one of the most unique superheroes I've ever seen, and again, it's a shame that he gets overshadowed by other characters. Coming in number 22 is the Great Gazoo from the Flintstones, and he first appeared in the show way back in 1965, and he spiced up the show. His character is incredibly interesting. He is a tiny green floating alien who is exiled to Earth from his home planet of Zetox as punishment for having invented a doomsday machine of all things. His backstory is so unique and his dialogue so witty that you just have to love him. He's also rumored to have inspired Butch Hartman, the creator of Fairly OddParents, in making that show. Next up is Debbie from the Wild Thornberries, and her character is usually overlooked, but if you really examine her, she's a great character. She is a 16-year-old city girl who just wants to listen to music and go to the mall with her friends. The only problem is that she lives with her parents in the middle of the wilderness. She longs for the normal suburban life her parents' jobs deprive her of, and it adds a layer of depth to the show that I always enjoyed, but she always gets overlooked by other characters like Darwin and obviously Eliza. Coming in at number 20 is Secret Squirrel, who originally debuted in 1965, but was revived in 1993 for 13 shorts that play between episodes of Two Stupid Dogs on Cartoon Network. I always loved this character for some reason growing up, but not many people remember him. He is clearly based off of James Bond in the show that has a secret agent feel with gadgets and supervillains. I always wish that they had made more of these, as there are only 39 episodes of it ever made. Our next character is a very creepy but incredibly interesting as well. Fred from Courage the Cowardly Dog always scared the crap out of me as a kid. He's obsessed with cutting hair off of people and animals to the point where they are bald. He also uses the word naughty over and over. Weird. It's just such a weird character. And while Fred is certainly incredibly creepy character, he gave that show that vibe, that creepy vibe that is known for and loved, and that's why his character is so great, but no one seems to remember him over to some of the other villains. Number 18 goes to an older superhero character that most people have forgotten. Underdog first aired way back in 1964 on NBC and ran for 124 episodes until it was canceled in 1967. I used to watch this as a kid, and it was syndicated to Cartoon Network in the late 90s, and I loved it. Underdog always spoke in rhymes, such as, "There's no need to fear, Underdog is here." And I always thought that was super cool as a kid, and I wish more people remembered this character and enjoyed it as much as I did when I was growing up. Next up, we have Eduardo from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. The purple Spanish-speaking character is typically overshadowed by the likes of others in the show like Mac or Blue or Frankie, but he's still a very likable character and at times can really shine. They made him look and sound vicious, but he's actually the sweetest and most sensitive character in the entire show, and at times that comes through. This potato-loving purple monster deserves more love, in my opinion. Number 16 goes to an obscure character that only plays a small role in a handful of episodes of Hey Arnold, but Stoop Kid most definitely left his mark on the show. The episode where he debuted really stands out as one of the best to me. Gerald tells the legend of the Stoop Kid, a kid who lives on a stoop and harasses passerby without ever leaving his stoop. And when Arnold proves that Stoop Kid is actually afraid to leave his stoop, he feels sorry for him and helps him overcome his fears and leave the stoop. Stoop Kid character since become an internet meme that pops up from time to time. But still, I love this episode, I love this character, and I need to see it more often. Coming in at number 15 is Scooby-Doo's favorite nephew, Scrappy Doo, and he first appeared back in 1979, and since has made appearances in most Scooby-Doo shows at one point or another. For whatever reason, though, nobody seems to remember Scrappy or his catchphrase, Puppy Power, or Scrappy Doo at all, really. But his character is actually really interesting. He is much stronger and braver than Scooby-Doo, often shown lifting heavy objects or even breaking through walls. I wish he had been a bigger part of the show through the years, as he seemed to disappear after the Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo series ended in the mid-80s. Number 14 goes to Roger Rabbit, and while he does have his own movie that is named after him called Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I feel like a lot of people don't know or don't remember, or maybe we're just too young to have seen it. And I've never seen a character quite like Roger Rabbit. He's funny and witty at the same time. He's also a moron who gets lucky a lot. Not to mention, he may have the hottest cartoon wife of all time, as weird as that sounds. If you've never seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, do yourself a favor and go watch it right now. Next up, the characters Ignat and or simply known as the Mooninites from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And these guys are incredibly hilarious. From their first appearance on, I knew I was going to love them forever. They thirst for mayhem and destruction, but are two of the biggest idiots ever. They may look poorly animated, but that's what gives them their charm. Not to mention the quad laser. They also have become very controversial for a day back in 2007 during the 2007 bomb scare incident in Boston, when LED displays resembling them were placed in various locations in Boston, Massachusetts, as they're trying to advertise the new movie coming out, but they were mistaken for bombs and caused a massive panic. Absolutely crazy, but still some of the best characters of all time. Number 12 goes to my favorite fairy godparent, Jorgen von Strangle. He is clearly based on Arnold Schwarzenegger in his over-the-top action macho films of the 1980s, and it's insanely funny. I always loved his character growing up, and his moments in the show make the show super funny. He is the toughest fairy in fairy world, but he is shown to have a softer side at times. Without a doubt, his character is one of the best in the show, but again, a character that is often forgotten due to him getting a smaller role than other characters. Next up, we have Marvin Martian, who was another frequently overlooked Looney Tune character. He first appeared way back in 1948 in the cartoon short Hair Devil Hair. His design is based off the concept of Roman gods of Mars, which is actually pretty interesting when you think about it. And while he may not be nearly as popular as Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck, Marvin the Martian is certainly an all-time great character. Just cracking our top 10 is Sugar Mama from the Proud Family. This character is so different than what we are used to seeing in cartoon, and it fits perfectly within the show. She's a very sassy, always gets straight to the point when she talks. She consistently insults, discourages, and beats up Oscar, the dad of the family, but she loves him deep down. Sugar Mama is a handful, and she's full of surprises, and her character never disappoints, and that's why she's on this list. Coming in at number 9 is Johnny Bravo's nerdy friend, Carl. And Carl is an intelligent, inventive, friendly, and innocent, and somewhat annoying best friend of Johnny Bravo. His annoyance practically comes from his voice and other things that he does. He continues, however, to hang out with Johnny even after all the mean things that Johnny does and says to him. What makes his character likable for me is that he provides the lovable loser that Johnny makes fun of and constantly shows how much funnier he is and how much better looking he is, and always poking fun at him. And that's what makes the show great to me. Again, although most people forget this character and only remember Johnny. Number 8 goes to Yajirobe from Dragon Ball Z. And he may not be as cool as Goku, Vegeta, or any other badass characters in the show, but he does have style. He's a fat samurai that carries a katana, for God's sakes. Who needs Super Saiyans when you can have Yajirobe? He actually also plays a bigger role than most people remember in this series. He often delivers the crucial sensu beams to heal the Z fighters, and he once even saved the day by cutting off Vegeta's Saiyan tail just in the nick of time. He may seem weak, but Yajirobe is a bona fide badass, and he should get more praise from fans of the series. Next at number 7 is another Fairly Odd Parents character that is often overlooked. The Crimson Chin is a superhero like no other, and I loved this character growing up. He's actually voiced by Jay Leno, of all people, because he's got a big cleft, he's got a big chin, he's also a talk show host. I get it, that makes sense. But anyway, his character is insanely funny and fits with the rest of the cast seamlessly. I feel like most people forgot about him, though, as he wasn't in all that many episodes, which is a real shame because his character, again, was absolutely amazing. Number 6 goes to him from the Powerpuff Girls. And I mean, what isn't there to love about a cross-dressing devil as a villain? His character is beyond unique and is one of the most interesting villains in any cartoon of all time. The voice acting for him is also top-notch. He alternates between high-pitched, silly, almost gentle when amused and throughout his evilness, to very sinister and almost growling when he's angry and enraged. Everyone seems to remember Mojo Jojo as the bad guy from the Powerpuff Girls, but he is nowhere near as creepy and evil as him. In our number 5 spot is Mandark from Dexter's Lab, and he is Dexter's rival and later mortal nemesis who often seeks to destroy both Dexter and his lab to provide once and for all that he is a superior super genius. His character is always funny to me as a kid, and backstory is very intriguing as well. His real name is actually Susan, and his parents were actually hippies. Just a bizarre character from top to bottom, but Mandark never really got the respect his character deserves from the fans of the show, which is a real shame because his character is really well done. Coming in at number 4 is I Am Weasel, which is an often overlooked or completely forgotten short cartoon. It actually originated as part of the Cow and Chicken series, but eventually got its own series. I Am Weasel was a smart, beloved, and highly successful weasel, and I.R. Baboon was an unsuccessful, unintelligent baboon who is jealous of Weasel's success and constantly tries to upstage him. For whatever reason, I never hear anyone talk about this character or even this show in general, and I don't know why. It was one of my all-time favorites growing up as a kid, and it deserves more praise. Next at number 3 is Troy McClure from The Simpsons, and he's a stereotypical Hollywood has-been. In most of his appearances in the show, he hosts short video clips that other characters see on television. He often presents himself in educational videos or infomercials or something like that along the lines. McClure introduced himself by saying, quote, "Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such titles as Man vs. Nature, Road to Victory." Or he says stuff like that. They're always funny titles or something little puns, and I love that character. However, following the voice actor's character Phil Hartman's murder in 1998, The Simpsons retired that character out of respect, which is incredibly sad as the character was insanely funny and we haven't seen it in quite some time, and maybe some of the newer fans of the series don't even remember it or never even saw it, so his character kind of gets lost and forgotten. In our runner-up spot is my all-time favorite drunk soccer coach, Coach McGuirk from Home Movies. Voiced by my favorite voice actor, John Benjamin, this character is one of my all-time funniest characters I've ever watched. The life lessons he gives to kids and his constant state of drunkenness is one hell of a combo. The show was on during the early days of Adult Swim, so many of you may have never even seen it. So if you're looking for a new show that's funny as hell, look no further than Home Movies. And finally, our number 1 awesome cartoon character you totally forgot about goes to the red guy from Cow and Chicken. This character is insanely funny and outside the box, and his character is voiced by Charlie Adder, another one of my all-time favorite voice actors. Red Guy is always naked and he's super spontaneous. Again, another great character I never hear anything or anybody talk about, and it's a real shame because his character is just so damn funny. But anyway, guys, that is all I have time for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more cartoon videos. Also, be sure to check out some of my previous videos. I did one on cartoons, like the cartoon shows or series you may have forgot about. Links will be in the end slate of the video. Today's code word is going to be Wii, as in the Nintendo Wii, because November 19th is the actual 10-year anniversary of its release coming up this Saturday. So go ahead and leave a comment with the word Wii in it. And now you guys made it all the way to the end of this extremely long video and are some of the coolest subscribers on the entire internet. But until next time, guys, remember, it's always K-Mac time somewhere. Till then, take it easy and peace out.